What's going on, everyone? This is Fight Words with Kev and Shelz. I'm Shelz.
Kev, A-Count Sports, A-Count Sports. My brother.
What's going on, homie? Peace,
Everything
peace,
good.
peace.
Everything
It's that time of year
good.
again, bro.
It is that time of year.
Again.
The creme of the creme.
The creme de la
The
creme.
best of the
show.
best.
Best of the best. The
My
whole
list
recap.
my list makes that every year, baby. Best list, best everything.
Talk to Izzy about that.
It's funny you mention that. That name might pop up on this list somewhere.
Right. Some men don't learn it. Some people don't learn from their mistakes. But anyways, let's get into it.
Get into it.
Yeah, as we all know, yes,
right.
sir, of course. 2023. We from all the UFC matches, all the boxing matches. I'm gonna come to you first with it. Who you got for fighter of the year, bro? Get straight to it, bro.
Let's get straight to it. Fighter of the year. For fighter of the year, I gotta give it to. This is I'm gonna start with the summary. I gotta summarize it, man. Look, I gotta come from last year. This starts from last year. This man was not given his due. He defeated the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. Everybody thought it was a fluke. Everybody outside of the UK thought it was a fluke. So what did he do? This March, he came back in there, defeated Kamaru Usman convincingly, like nobody had done before. And Usman ain't been the same. He did a Usman to Usman. Usman used to always say, I beat these guys and they ain't the same again. Yo, Usman ain't been right since. I got to go with my man Leon Rocky Edwards for for fighter of the year. Then he finishes the year getting rid of Colby Covington. Got rid of the two faces of the division. Got rid of them, vanquished. And this is a new welterweight division, bro. New welterweight division. I see new era in the welterweight division. 33, still in his prime. And like I said to you going into the fight, I feel like he hasn't reached his ceiling. I haven't seen the perfect performance from Edwards. In this last fight, he resorted to wrestling and he out wrestled the wrestler. Even in the Usman fight, he only got him down maybe once or twice. And Edwards was able to get up and reestablish himself. This is top-notch stuff. Usually the strikers in the UFC, if you're primarily a striker, you don't want to go down to the ground. You don't want to do these things. This guy could do it all. Leon Rocky Edwards is my fighter of the year, man.
That's a good selection. I'm not mad at it at all. All right. I got a different guy, fighter of the year.
Okay.
And I'm gonna preface it by saying the man is a thorn in the side of the UFC. I gotta give it to my dude Francis Ngannou, bro. This man, bro, talk about betting on yourself. Betting on yourself. Going into the octagon against Cyril Gane when there was, after cutting out all contract negotiations, knowing that if you lost this fight, you'll be at the mercy of Dana White and the UFC. Beating him with an injury. Still deciding to leave the UFC and to go into this thing called boxing, which he's never done before. And then to say, not only am I going into boxing, I'm going to take on, pound for pound, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. That's going to be my first match. That's going to be my intro into this boxing world.
Oh, great.
Going in there and having the only knockdown in that fight, third round knockdown against the king of the heavyweights, to the point where even though he lost by decision, and let's not forget, the decision was a split decision. I believe the score was one judge scored at 95-94 for Ngannou, a second one scored at 93-96 for Fury, and another one scored at 95-94 for Fury. By the skin of his teeth, Fury won that fight. And there's a big consensus that Fury didn't leave there the real victor. It was rigged. That's what people. That's what one of the big consensus is. This man, Francis Ngannou, not only the fighter of the year, he's the baddest man on the planet. Period. In the story.
Yeah.
His shadow's forever casting over the UFC heavyweight division. No matter who wins over there, they'll always say that the baddest man on the planet is not in that division currently. He's outside of it, and his name is in Francois Ngannou. Like that man's the fight of the year, bro. That's what I gotta give it to.
I can't
Short and
argue with
sweet,
that.
bro.
I can't
Francis
argue
Ngannou,
with
bro.
that all the way. I will say, he didn't fight any MMA fights this year. So I mean, he did it in boxing, which was unprecedented and unexpected. I think I know most people didn't have him winning, except for me. But most people didn't have him winning, and even that I was going on a limb. You know what I'm saying? But
That performance was crazy.
the performance was crazy.
He did. And here's the thing, though. You said that he didn't do any MMA matches. This is how I would rebuttal this. What he did for MMA fighters in that boxing match outweighs any kind of fight he would have had in the octagon had he decided to stay with the UFC, bro.
Fair enough.
Just doing what he did, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's not just his performance, it's the whole story of the whole story. That's to me, that's what many people that's fight of the year. His whole story, because that's what makes fights. Like you can put any two schmoes in the octagon, and no one's gonna care. It's the story behind these fights, the story behind these fighters, and the story behind Francis Ngannou leading up into that point, to me, makes him the most intriguing fight of the year. It's someone his story is the most interesting, the most I can't even say relatable because the story's so far fetched.
Yeah,
I can't even say
it
it's
is.
relatable. It's the most inspiring story, bro.
Absolutely.
His fighting story is the most inspiring comments, but like his whole history about how he had to. This man left Cameroon as a adult man to go to Europe to learn to fight. And if you hear his story, being sent back numerous times, having to over and over again, like living for. There's a story about him how he had to paddle with his hands to get this man's story was like a Marvel storybook. Like if you were like this a Marvel superhero character, it's Francis Ngannou. Like this man's the fight of the year, bro. Like I'm intrigued to see what he does in 2024, bro.
Same. I'm gonna keep my list. Nah, I don't. I don't agree with. I mean, I don't disagree with it. Next year, I'm gonna separate my list and have a boxing and a MMA list. But as far as all together, yeah, Francis Ngannou. I told you before, like for years, I looked at Muhammad Ali as the greatest of all time. Period. You're talking fighting. Period. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about the octagon. Period. Now we have a fighter where there's more substance to that because he's actually competed in the two biggest combat sports in the world. You're talking about MMA and boxing, and was successful at doing both at the highest level. He pretty much defeated the heavyweight champion of the world in the boxing ring. That's crazy.
The fact that it's debatable.
Yeah, it's a win.
Moral victory in itself. The fact that he got the only highlight in that whole fight, bro.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. I mean,
and in a sense, he sets himself up potentially for more opportunities in the boxing ring, where the MMA stuff is still there anyway. This is unprecedented, and I just hope he continues it. I want this to keep going. It's a shame that he's already older, but I want this to keep going, man.
But that adds to the allure of his story. This man is supposed to be past his prime, but he's doing all of these things that. Is he really out of his prime? Like this man is doing things like he really is the predator, bro. Like this man, like the older he gets, the better he gets. It's crazy to think that last year there was no telling where his career would end up, and now we talk about a man who basically, like I said, it's debatable that he beat the one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, bro.
Of all time, at that, yes, Tyson Fury has that.
Of all time, all time, bro.
Yeah.
One of the greatest technical boxers of all, especially in the heavyweight division of all time. And Francis Ngannou walked in as the first bout, and
of his era,
he arguably, so I would say of any era, but definitely of this era.
Yeah,
but he arguably was the victor of that bout. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy. Speaking of crazy, let's transition into knockout of the year. Should I let you go first? Oh.
Sure. I think I take it. The 2023 ended to me with the greatest knockout of 2023. UFC 296. Josh Emmett's first round KO of Bryce Mitchell, bro.
Yeah,
that
was rough.
Crazy. I felt that in my chest when it happened, bro. Bryce was convulsing on the floor.
Yeah.
Like that was like, we know it's UFC and it's a violent sport, but that was uncomfortable watching, bro.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah. For him to still be this okay that was.
Bro, and the crazy part was Joe and Joe and DC say, "Yo, let him sit down. He's gonna tear up his knees. Let him sit down. He couldn't even walk. He couldn't even. Yeah. He wasn't even. It was like watching a newborn deer, a fawn, a newborn baby when it's just born trying to learn to walk again.
Yeah,
like that was his knees, bro. Like
that was
to me that was the greatest knockout.
Yeah,
2023 ended with that.
Emmett. He's notorious. He got a few of those. He got a few body bags. We're glad my man is doing good though, Bryce. But yeah, that was ugly. That was ugly, man. It's crazy. They got to turn that switch on. That switch and then turn it off after the fight. They come down and you know what I mean. It's a
that's the game. That's the game they play, bro.
That is. Oh, for me, with knockouts, I like the we picking the best of the year, so we got to nitpick when we get to the top, right? We got to nitpick. Mm-hmm. Yes, Josh Emmett was one. That was definitely for the visual. I thought you could easily go with Sugar Sean over Aljo. That was significant in a lot of ways. But man, you want to talk about significance? I got to go with my summaries again, man. Last year.
Before let me ask you a question. When you go by knockout, when you made your pick, are you going by the implications of the knockout or just the whole visual of it?
Well, it depends. If I got two fights that visually look crazy, two knockouts that visually look crazy, then I'm gonna go for more. Like what else that I'm nitpicking? Okay, so what else was going in? Cool. There's some things, but as good as the Emmett knockout was, that's just me. I mean, we gonna go by our own thing. Mm-hmm. As good as the Emmett knockout was, as good as the O'Malley knockout one, for me, going into this year, coming into the second Izzy and Pereira fight, Izzy's career was on the line. And it was on the line against a guy that he had not beaten previously. The Boogeyman. This is the Boogeyman he going in there with. There was a lot at stake.
Boogeyman of his career.
Boogeyman of his career is the one guy he couldn't beat. The dude comes into the ring, rehydrates almost 50 pounds. And in hindsight, at the moment it was already daunting. In hindsight, seeing what Pereira's doing right now at 205, bro.
Yeah.
That's what Izzy say, yo, go up there and y'all deal with him. You're seeing that now. You're seeing that. Like, he only has one loss. And that one loss, bro, was to Izzy. He slayed the giant, gave him his own symbol after the slaying. It was crazy, bro. I gotta go with Israel Adesanya over your man Alex Pereira, bro. It was simply unexpected in the moment as it was happening. It was unexpected. Going into the fight, you knew it could happen. As it did happen, the way Pereira, the crazy part was, you could, like a lot of times with MMA, which the stories, like you see, it's so compelling, these stories. Conor flying his thing with Khabib, we was talking about earlier. Like, when these guys finally get in the ring, when we get a big match, there's usually a story behind it. John Jones being out forever, coming back and fighting. Going, this story was a story. this was epic. It was epic.
Yeah.
And when he needed it the most, when he dropped them, and this time he hurt him in the past. This time didn't let him off the hook, and he finally started to let off. It felt like, I think everybody watching it could feel that demon just getting exercised, just everything, just be all that emotion getting let out. It was just the most. It was the post fights and everything about it, bro. Was just crazy. I remember just watching at home, like, yo, this is crazy. Like, it was crazy. Everything about it, bro, was just crazy. I gotta go with Izzy, bro.
This was that anime ending he was hoping for.
It was. Like he probably thought, if I do this, is probably it. I ain't got to do nothing else. Probably why he lost his legs.
Lost that motivation.
But you know what's crazy about it, bro? I was thinking about it as we were going through this and coming with the knockout of the years and everything like that. I was thinking about it, and when Pereira came in, he had one fight, knocked the dude out, and the next fight they gave him was Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland was on the way to Israel. He won 6 straight fights. At the time, Izzy had already fought Cannonier. He already fought Whitaker. Strickland was next up and got Pereira. Okay. It's interesting. I wonder how that would have played out. Because obviously, you know, Pereira and Strickland did end up training together, but I wonder how the fight still would have played out. You know what I mean?
What
with Izzy and Strickland back then.
If Strickland had fought Izzy back then?
Yeah, he was streaking. He had won like 6 straight before he fought Pereira. He was already in the top 5.
I mean, I got you. I get what you're saying.
Like Pereira came on the scene and he got Pereira before he got Izzy. Yeah, you know, Sean, he took it.
I got you.
You know, Sean to do that.
I got you saying like if he didn't take those lessons from that engagement, especially with the training, like
how would it played out?
How would it played out?
How would it played out?
I mean, we can speculate, but we'll never know.
Never know. It's true. This is true.
We'll never know.
True.
But I like that. I like that knock. I like that answer. All right. Well, let's go to the next subject, bro. Fight of the year.
Fight of the year.
What you got for fight of the year?
Me first.
Fight of the year, bro.
Fight of the year. It was a few to choose from. I gotta go with Pantoja and Moreno. Actually, that fight, the second fight, which was actually the championship fight, that was a goodie. I thought watching the fight, you talk about that fight. Matter of fact, that division, I think that's the flyweight division or the strawweight division. That division, in generally speaking, is basically the summary of the UFC as a whole. Like when Triple C left that division, it was thought that Deiveson Figueiredo was the next guy and he was gonna hold it down. He was fighting a fight every 2-3 weeks. He was turning it around and around, and he fights this kid Moreno, who has losses, you know what I mean? Losses to guys that he fought. And he gets caught in a barn burner. Like all of a sudden.
Changes everything, yeah.
Changes everything. Moreno becomes the first Mexican champion. They had a trilogy +1. And after all 4 fights, Moreno clears the division of Deiveson Figueiredo. And now it's the Moreno era, right? Here it goes. Oh, now we're going to fight this guy that you fought way back when and lost to. You do it, right? You're the champ. Wrong. Pantoja comes out of nowhere. This fight was so epic because I had never seen this guy fight before, Pantoja. And Moreno, with his intensity, he tried to do that, and early in the fight, you realize this dude ain't going nowhere. Matter of fact, he's winning the exchanges. Moreno tried to make adjustments. He made some good adjustments, but not lasting adjustments. This fight was a crazy back and forth. I didn't expect Moreno to lose the fight. He did. I would like to see them go again, but Moreno has to make some adjustments. But to me, this fight was the craziest fight of the year. I mean, Moreno almost getting stopped until the point where he turns it around and almost himself, it looks like he starts to take the fight over, but then Pantoja shows that he showed the championship spirit, the championship heart. He showed everything. He showed everything in that fight that proved that he deserved to be the champion that night and further on. So it was total. If you're a fight fan, it definitely filled you for the night.
It was a treat. No, it was a treat. It was definitely a treat. So I like this so far. No bad answers. Something I can't argue. To me personally, it'll make. I'm giving the fight of the year to this person who was the fight of the year. Fight of the year to me was Fury versus Ngannou. Just because of all the implications of that fight. Because of the whole upset of that fight. No one expected, and I don't know I'm sound like like I'm repeating myself, which is why I'm going to throw in an honorable mention. But I have to give this I have to give the Tyson Fury fight this fight of the year because, like I said before, it was more excitement than I thought I was going to get from the fight. Period. I thought it was going to be a wash. I thought I was watching my man's Francis funeral, and instead I'm serious. I thought I was going to see a situation where I was going to see my man Francis get picked apart to see how unprepared he was for the situation. But instead, I'm watching something so inspiring. Like, that fight was Rocky 1. The movie Rocky 1 was that fight. You have this champ who seems unstoppable, invincible, who's given a shot to a nobody in the boxing world. Right. Introducing him to boxing, saying that just come along, let's like it was almost promoted as an exhibition fight.
Yeah, right.
Like it was a fluke, like it was not a joke, like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And the guy would not go down. Francis would not go down. Fury looked confused. Fury was in danger. Fury got knocked down.
Yeah.
And just like in the Rocky movie, when Apollo came out on top and everybody felt like, nah, he should never came out on top in the first place. Fury came out on top, and I know he's getting hate mail, but like, yo, that fight wasn't yours. You need to run that back. This is why I said I can't wait. I'm interested to see what will happen for Ngannou in 2024. Because to me, just like in Rocky 1, we need Rocky 2. We need Fury Ngannou 2. That's how I feel. But I'm gonna give an honorable mention because one of the things we say about the UFC, what MMA has over boxing, is that they have a monopoly in the UFC, which allows MMA fans to enjoy the fights that we want to see right away, as opposed to boxing, where some of the fights we want to see get delayed. But one such fight was not delayed, and that was Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. We finally got to see two great fighters in a prime.
Right.
And for the undisputed, bro, the undisputed welterweight, and it's like welterweight belt in for all four titles. Exactly. And just like this, it was as if there was the stars aligned perfectly for that. It was as if Dana White said, "Nah, I'll take care. Let me show you how it's done. I'm not giving you credit, but I'm saying like." It finally happened the way boxing fans wanted it to happen. Right. Two young dudes in their prime, clearing out everyone else, and now they finally met. And just for this fight, I'm not trying to call nobody nothing. I'm not trying to call no one out. Errol Spence is called the truth. Well, that night, at least for that night, the truth was exposed of who was the greatest. For that night. Maybe it'll be different next time, but for that night, you saw it wasn't nothing that should have happened 10 years ago. It wasn't nothing that happened when one was injured. All egos was put aside. Everyone put it on the table. That's the definition of a fighter spirit. So I have to give that fight that fight. I don't mention this fight of the year, even though I'm giving the actual type to Francis versus Fury. But I almost forgot something. I forgot to give the fight of the year when we spoke on that. I forgot to give another honorable mention for that topic because I have to give it to my boy Mike Perry, bro.
For what? Fighter of the year?
Like honorable mention.
Fighter of the year?
Him because fight of the year.
Oh, okay.
I'm giving an honorable mention.
Mike,
Just as
hurry up
Francis
here.
Ngannou leaving the UFC in your fight of the year. I know I went past it, but I just have to throw his name out there because I would have felt bad because this dude, bro. Speaking of a UFC fighter leaving the promotion and having a bigger career once he left, this
Right.
dude Mike Perry became the face of a whole new combat sport in bare knuckle boxing.
Right.
As a matter of fact, in 2023, he beat 2 former UFC champs.
Yeah.
In Luke Rockhold,
Yeah.
and more recently Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
Bro, like I have to give him an honorable mention. I was friends
And he
still
fought
my guy for fight of
MVP
the year,
too.
but I had to give Mike.
Michael Venom Page too from Bellator. He actually got. I think he
See?
fought him earlier this year too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna throw him in there, but I just wanted to. I'll just use the 2 UFC to show that he left the UFC to do that.
Yeah.
To call out 2 champs, and because he wasn't a champ in the UFC. He could never acquire a belt in the UFC, and he defeated 2 former greats.
Yeah.
So I have to give that man an honorable mention for fight of the year. But but like I said, fight of the year, Ngannou versus Fury. Honorable mention to Crawford versus Spence.
All right. Well, since we're giving out honorable mentions for fight of the year,
shoot, bro.
For fight of the year, we were discussing this earlier, and next year we'll definitely incorporate boxing in its own pound for pound list. Terrence Crawford. My honorable mention for fighter of the year will be Terrence Crawford. He
definitely, bro.
He finally got his shot. And it was nothing that he did for him not to get it. He got his shot, and not only did he win, he did it emphatically. He proved before that fight, he said, I'm gonna show y'all why they didn't want to fight me. And he says they because it wasn't just Spence. Spence is the one that manned up because it was the folks behind Spence that been managing his career that, you know, they didn't want to do business with Bob Arum and necessarily with Crawford. Spence, you know what I mean, stood on his word to fight Crawford. It was Spence that went the extra mile to really make that fight happen. But Crawford said before the fight, I'm going to show y'all why they didn't want to fight me. And he went in there and he showed it.
And he showed it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
We got to transition into upsets of the year. The last category, upset of the year. Upset. Who was it? Who going first?
I'll go. I'll take it.
This is a few. There's quite a few. Upset of the year, bro. Upset of the year.
Nah, it was definitely a few. But the one to me, the biggest, was Izzy Adesanya versus Sean Strickland for the middleweight title, bro.
Bro.
I did not see that coming, bro. to first of all,
made to order.
Izzy is still considered one of the greatest. I still consider one of the greatest strikers in the UFC. At the time, I would have said unapologetically, convincingly, he is the greatest striker in the UFC. And to have Sean Strickland beat him on his feet for 5 rounds, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was crazy.
To walk him down. I remember I couldn't believe it up until the last second of round 5. Like, yo, this man is about to win.
Yeah.
He's about to take it. It was up until the last round, bro. I'm thinking to myself, Izzy gonna figure out something that's gonna change it. Like he had Izzy stumped. He had Izzy stuck.
He did.
You know, a fighter is great when you make a great fighter not look like his normal self.
Yes.
And that's what Sean did to Izzy. He nullified his striking ability.
Let me ask you something.
And
no, go. After when you finish, I gotta ask you something. I'm gonna cut you off.
Yeah, what I say, he nullified his striking ability, and he dominated all 5 rounds, bro. There was not one round where you could give to Izzy at the time. And to me, I have to get that upset of the year because that's one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. That situation, that fight right there.
Yes. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Do you think, and just throwing this out there, do you think that just maybe the writing was on the wall in regards to this, but just maybe we just overlooked it in regards to Izzy? Like maybe, because I mean, Pereira is such a daunting task. But if he was kind of getting overwhelmed by Pereira a little bit in the first fight. Not I want to say overwhelmed, but Pereira was really. Do you think that was just possible, or do you think Pereira was just really that good? Because for 2 rounds in the fight, and up until the knockdown, Pereira was kind of taking it to Izzy. You think maybe there was something there, or was it just Pereira, or was Izzy just playing possum? Or
this is because those are two styles make fights, bro. Those are 2 different styles. Because at the end of the day, this is the same Sean Strickland who walked with his chin up to Pereira so Pereira can knock that down. Because you're like, come on, this is the same Strickland. That's the image that made me say like he's
made to order.
Me at the time it was. To me, it was. That's what I felt. To me at the time, and remember, that fight was not supposed to happen. It was really supposed to be Duplessis and Izzy.
Right.
But Duplessis dropped out, and Strickland took the fight on short notes, which makes the upset that much more. It makes it that much more surprising. I'm gonna say that for lack of it makes it that much more surprising. He took it on like. He took it on short notice, and remember his last performance was against Pereira, when he walked into Pereira with his chin up and got knocked down. It was like easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. That's what it was for Pereira. I'm thinking it's gonna be the same for Alex. Bro, because remember, like you're thinking that Izzy and Alex are just different caliber fighters than Sean Strickland. It just felt like Sean Strickland at the time was just a filler because Izzy didn't have a point at the moment. And that's how it was treated at the time. Yeah. So I definitely didn't see that. The performance of Izzy versus Alex gave me no inclination of how Sean's gonna perform against Izzy. Nah.
Gotcha. This one was a hard one. The Izzy and Sean thing. We spoke about that fight, and the title of that show was Made to Order. We missed totally.
We thought it was Made to Order. Yeah,
we thought Izzy was gonna steamroll Sean Strickland. This is all fact. But I actually have to go with a different upset of the year. I'm surprised. It was close. But one that stood out to me was early this year was Alexa Grasso against Valentina Shevchenko. I gotta go with that one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Going into that fight, when I say dismissive, we had no idea who Alexa Grasso was. We figured after the Santos fight, Valentina was gonna be. It was. Sometimes it's like recency bias, but
we did dismiss her.
Yeah, we totally no name. We couldn't figure out the name. But I remember just like, who was she fighting again? Number 4? What? All right, okay. She went out there, and you're watching the fight unfold, and it's not going the way for the second fight in a row for Valentina. It's not really going the way you would think it would go. But the difference between Santos and Grasso was able to really negate Valentina on the feet, standing up. It wasn't a mass rush for a takedown. It was Valentina. It got to the point where Valentina got desperate and then got choked out. Sunburn. Choked out. Like to see that, and Valentina Shevchenko is, let's make no mistakes about this. This is the second greatest women's MMA fighter ever. This is behind Amanda Nunes. This is the next. She arguably has wins against Amanda Nunes. If you watch the fight, it's debatable. These are debatable.
She's one of those, bro.
She's one of those. So it changed the direction of the women's side of MMA. Single-handedly, it's a new face in the division. The champion has a new face, and for me, that one stood out. The Izzy one, I ain't gonna lie to you. That to me, they're interchangeable, but the Grasso one, it was, and she represented Mexico. It was everything too. And then this is hindsight. She did it again, but the performance for her to step up in that moment, like you talk about Sean Strickland. One thing about Sean Strickland, he's a confident dude. Like, he's going to go in there, he's going to do what he's going to do. Like, whatever. for her, somebody we haven't even heard of, to step up in the biggest moment of her career against you talk about a killer. Valentina is a killer. Like there's no mercy, there's no anything. There's nothing in it. And a professional. Like, I've never seen anybody make Valentina make a mistake. Valentina got to the point where she had to do something. Like, it was that kind of fight. And we saw a new, legitimately Valentina, a new champion. No fluke, legitimate.
It's crazy. I told you, you're talking about professional. I saw Valentina as, she's like one of those female assassins in 007 movies, bro. Like that's who she is. Like, she needs to get into that after she's done with the UFC. She needs to get into acting. She will. Those would be perfect roles for her. Like in those 007 movies, the assassins. That is her. That is her right there.
Yeah.
And you're right, Alex. Grosser really did upset the whole world with that victory over her. It threw us off.
Yeah.
So I'm not even mad at that. I'm not mad at that selection either. Now.
Yeah.
Get into man. Let's do the Birdman finger. Let's do the Birdman hand rub, bro. So
the main course.
Let's do the pound for pound, man. I'm gonna let you begin. What is your pound for pound? Your pound for pound greatest fight? Like, we know, and we're saying, like, how did it change? Like, because sometimes the list may have stayed the same.
Oh, my list.
Who's your top pound for pound, bro?
Top 5. So I'm going first. I'm starting it off top 5.
Yeah, you going from 5 to 1 or 1 to 5?
I'm going 5 from 5 to 1. I go from 5 to 1. At number 5, drum roll please. I gotta go with Sugar Sean O'Malley, man. The Sugar Show.
Oh shit.
The Sugar Show defeated really? the greatest bantamweight of all time in Aljo. The Sugar Show, man. When I look at his
champ in the UFC.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, Aljamain Sterling was the most disrespected and continues to be disrespected as we speak. I'm not even going to get into all that because it's not about Aljo. It's about Sean O'Malley. Yes, I got to go with Sugar Sean. His striking is something to deal with. It is something to deal with. Even if you were a wrestler, we've seen him get up. We've seen him against guys that tried to take him down, nullify it. Like that. That was what. If we're saying that Aljamain Sterling is the greatest bantamweight of all time, his bread and butter was the takedown. There's no better person in the division at that. And on the feet, he nullified the whole thing. Like his ability, his performance against Peter Yan, which Peter Yan is a striker, pretty much. He's well-rounded, but he's more notable for striking. He lumped Peter Yan up. Lumped him up, had him bleeding from everywhere. Then to come in against Aljamain Sterling, and when we talked about the fight, we said, what I said was they're both each other's worst nightmare. Because Sean O'Malley is such a great striker, that would pose a problem for Aljo. For Aljo, because he's so great with his wrestling, that should pose a problem for Sean O'Malley, keeping him off his feet. Didn't happen. O'Malley was so dangerous with his striking that Aljamain's wrestling did not factor into that fight. 2 rounds, knockout. When I look at the forecast, my only hiccup with O'Malley is I see 2 fights on the radar that I think when I look at the rest of the division, that may pose a problem to him. The first person is the next first person he's going to fight, Brandon Vera, who has a win over O'Malley. the one loss that O'Malley does have. There was some, I wouldn't say controversy, but there was some additional circumstances in the fight. But to me, Vera has the skill set to maybe pull off the upset. And another person that I think may give O'Malley problems is actually Corey Sandhagen. With his size and the way he strikes can pose a problem. He's hard to pick up on. He's hard to kind of figure out. He's a bit we call in boxing somebody awkward when you can't really make the right adjustments to really corner him. And I think another problem, I think Sandhagen could pose a threat if he gets an opportunity at O'Malley. So I don't know if O'Malley will have a long reign, but he's number 5 for me. Beating Aljamain Sterling did it for me, and his win over Peter Young. At number 4, this is where the list gets 2 to 4 gets tight. 2 to 4 gets tight for me.
2 to 4 gets tight.
2 to 4 gets tight. They're interchangeable to me. A bit interchangeable to me. At number 4, like as I'm talking right now, I might switch it. At number 4 for right now is Alex Pereira. At number 4, it's a
welcome home, bro. Welcome home.
Maybe he could be higher. Maybe he should be higher, bro. Maybe he should be higher. Like as I'm saying, it's 2 through 4 is difficult for me. I go with Alex Pereira. This is a 2 at this point. We spoke about this early. Izzy was the one guy to beat him, and even you know what I mean, and that was like a one hitter quitter. Izzy was a bit behind in that match when he fought him. What he's been able to do is remarkable. He's only been in the UFC probably 3 years, and he has 2 titles already, and he has the size to maybe even go up the heavyweight. Maybe. I'm not saying he'll be successful, but he has the size to show up, and he has the skill set. The thing about Pereira, his like I always say, he got a bag. Bro. He has an offensive bag that is hard to deal with. If you can deal with it, maybe you'll find something there. But he has a bag that's just hard to get around, bro. When I look at that division, I talk about what's that other subject? He's already beaten that division. When I look at it, I think he looks like he's in for a long reign. It looks like he's in for a long reign. There's some intriguing matchups that I can see, that on the horizon, but he may be in for a long reign. So I go with Alex Pereira at number 4. It's close though. At number 3, I'll go with Leon Edwards. I think that he's ascending. I think that he's actually still getting better. He has no ceiling. He has some tough wrestlers on the horizon. But I think, boy, he's been handling these wrestlers, man. And what happens when he handles them, they have to deal with him. You know what I mean? They have to start dealing with the striking. And boy, this is Leon Edwards is the evolution of mixed martial arts right now. The guy that's noted specializes in one thing, but specializes, not just well-rounded at striking, could do a little bit. No, he's a specialist at striking, one of the best in the game. And his wrestling is above. The wrestlers can't do anything with him, bro. He's not avoiding the wrestlers. Most strikers, they're like running and they kind of almost, somebody grabs their leg and they're trying not to go down. He's inviting it.
So he's underrated the future of what we could see in the game moving forward.
Guys with specialty, guys that are specialists. Could you imagine Alex Pereira taking somebody down and being successful doing that? Israel Adesanya. This is the evolution of that. We're watching this. He's in his prime right now. I don't know how they're gonna deal with Alex Pereira. With Leon Edwards right now. And he was a close 3. 2 to 4, interchangeable. At number 2, I still got Alex Volkanovski at number 2. I got Alex at number 2. I think he did him. It was a previous show we did, and I said the UFC did him a disservice by calling him. He did himself a disservice. Yeah. You were right about that. He did himself a disservice. Previously undefeated in the UFC, took this fight on short notice, and he just fought Islam, guys, months ago. Different fight. Takes this fight on short notice, totally disrespectful to Islam and what he can do, and got smoked. I don't think that this is indicative of who he is as a fighter. I think he should have left it alone. I give Islam all credit for beating him, but I don't think that loss for me doesn't diminish Alex. For me, it doesn't diminish Volkanovski. I don't think he should have fought him, and I just think that he's a lot better than what showed up that night. This is my personal opinion. He took the L, but I still think that I think with a full training camp, he's still that dude. At number 1, I got Islam. This spot was previously occupied by John Jones. John Jones hasn't fought since March, and he's going to be out for another who knows how many months. So that would make it more than a year.
Yeah.
So with years off prior to that. So I got to go with Islam until further notice. Islam is simply, I don't see anybody on the horizon at that weight class beating him. I'm intrigued with him moving up to fight Leon Edwards. That would be interesting, but I don't think anybody in that division has anything for him. This is an easy pick for me, and that's that. I got Islam at one. I don't see nobody in the past could beat him. Nobody in the future. He's already handled. The biggest threat to me, I would have said, was Oliveira. These are the dudes that's striking and all of that. Not happening. Islam.
Yeah. No, I agree with that with regards to Islam. It's not a bad list. Let me give you my rundown. I'm gonna do what you. I remember last year I did 1 to 5. I'm gonna do 5 to 1 as well.
All right.
And I'm gonna preface it by saying this. This list doesn't have any women on it this time.
Oh, okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so, Valentina and Amanda, right?
Yeah.
Those are the names.
I got some.
Oh, so Weili gets replaced because you had Weili last year.
You're about to see what's gonna happen. So a lot happened in 2023. So number 5. Remember, I told you when you shouted out Alex Pereira, I told you welcome home.
Yeah.
You have to welcome me home too now, because I'm gonna say number 5, Leon Edwards.
Leon Edwards. Okay.
Leon Edwards, bro. This man has beaten, like you said, the two faces of the welterweight division. There was a time I remember when Dana White said, if Usman wasn't the champ, it'd be Kobe Covington. Leon Edwards has made Dana White eat in his words because he has beaten the both of them. And like you said, they're both wrestlers. Leon Edwards in Edwards Usman 1. No, 2, my fault. And Edwards Usman 2. Leon did what no one was able to do at that time when Usman was the boogeyman of the division, which is take him down.
Clean too.
He don't give him enough credit for it. He took it clean.
Yep.
And then their third bout right after that, he made Usman look like he had nullified all of Usman's skill sets and advantages that we thought he would have had over Leon Edwards. So to me, that in itself made himself the clear king of the division. And then when you bring in Kobe Covington, who everyone assumed would have been the champ if it wasn't for Usman, he did away with him. And he took down the wrestler. He out-wrestled the wrestler. So at this point, we got to give Leon his credit. So I have no qualms about saying that he is on that list. He's number 5 for pound best fighter in the UFC and MMA period. That's number. Go on.
No. I caught what you said when you said welcome home, because I had Leon on the list forever. And welcome.
Yeah, I got. Yeah.
Got you.
It's nice here. Look, you got to give credit's due.
That's what's up.
Number 4, I gotta give it to my man Alex Pereira, bro.
Okay.
Like you said it yourself. 3 years, 2 titles.
Yeah.
3 years, 2 titles. I don't care if anybody says he got shot up. He was given the express lane. This is the UFC, bro.
Yeah.
If he wasn't that good, he wouldn't have been wearing those belts around his waist. He lost to Izzy, yes, but that was one time out of the 4 times they had fought. I'm still not convinced that they would have fought a third time that Alex wouldn't have his number again. He beat Jan Blachowicz, the guy that Izzy couldn't beat when he tried to go up to the 205 division. He beat Yuri Prochazka, who was supposed to be one of the greatest in that division, who's supposed to be the boogeyman of that division. Avenging his mentor in Glover Teixeira. And like you said, he could move up to the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
And he with John Jones being absent, well, there's Aspet out there, but we don't know how far he could go in that division. I see him as number 4 because the compliments can't be argued, his credentials can't be argued. I'm still would really love to see him fight Izzy again to see like just to settle that trilogy in the UFC, just to really get it out there. But I got him as number 4. Number 3, Volkanovski. He's king of the featherweight division. Like he's still the man. The only who's ever lost to was Islam, and that's no small order.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, he took on the second his second fight against Islam on short notice. And to me, I mean, I know it wasn't much. There wasn't much to look at, but he was looking good on that short notice to me.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I would have loved to see him with a full camp before going against Islam that second time.
Yeah.
But like you said, he changed himself by jump to the occasion on short notice. But I still don't see anyone touch him in the featherweight division. I have him as number 3. Number 2, I'm gonna give it to the only guy who's ever beat number 3, which is Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev to me is like a more well-rounded Khabib. He's a danger on the feet and on the ground. And like you said, I don't see no one giving him any troubles right now. His next fight's supposed to be against Oliveira. I don't see, from what I've seen in their last fight, I don't see that fight going any different. I'm still excited to see it, but I don't see that to see if Oliveira has made any adjustments. But I don't see that fight going any different.
Right.
And for number 1, I gotta give it to this guy is outside of the UFC. The baddest man on the planet, bro. Pound for pound, Francis Ngannou. This is my list is all Francis Ngannou because I think like I said, he's the fight of the year. He's the fight of the year for a reason.
I hear you.
Like, bro, even if John Jones come back and runs through that division, you will still say to yourself that you can't say for a fact that John Jones is the baddest man on the planet because you got the predator outside lurking around, bro. So I gotta give it to Francis Ngannou, number 1. For him to leave the UFC as the champ, to go into boxing, to fight the heavyweight champ there, to do what he did, to arguably win there too, I gotta give it to that man. That man is the baddest man on the planet. And when you're the baddest man on the planet, that means that's synonymous with saying you are the pound for pound greatest fighter on the planet.
Yeah.
So there you go, man.
Nah, that's my list right there. That's a good list. I'm surprised you didn't have Pereira higher the way you talk about him. I'm surprised. Because to me, him winning that belt, I mean, that's 2 belts in the year. Really, he started the year off as middleweight, finished at light heavy. But to me, 2 through 4 was difficult for me. But the list is cool.
It was difficult for me too. It was difficult for me too. Just the reason why I still had Volk over Pereira is because it's just Volk's dominance.
Yeah. In the division,
it's that dominance, bro. It's that dominance, right?
So how do you see him being dominant in the future? That's a Poirier fight. Poirier could fight. Well, coming off this knockout, this is gonna be.
Bro, my list might be different in 2024. We'll see. But I can only go by what I'm seeing.
Perceived dominance. You gotta look at the landscape. What's going on?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But I can't discredit Volk.
Yeah.
Until I'm given a reason to discredit him. And he's giving me no reason to discredit him.
Yeah, I got him at 2 myself.
He's giving me no reason to discredit him, bro.
I hear you. Well, speaking of the future, transition, wish list time. Wish list. What are the 3 things
it is that time of the year?
It's that time of the year. What are the 3 things that Shelz wants? Yeah. In sports, combat sports, what do you want to see? What do you want for 2024? What are those 3 things?
All right, so I'm gonna go from what I want the least to what I want the most.
Okay.
I want to see that trilogy between Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunes, bro. I think I think Pena was wrong for not like she was supposed to get the opportunity and she pulled it because she was sick, but the way that she was being treated, like, she was exposed in a second fight and we have seen enough, bro. she did what she's supposed to in that first fight, and because of that, we need to see it just for on principle and just for the sake of the sport, so we could get the A clear. We need to see that trilogy. That's what I feel.
Okay.
That's what I feel. Number 2, I want to see Izzy versus Duplessis, bro. Like after that build up, bro, you can't leave that fight. You can't leave that fight. Like after that sort of build up, bro. When you go in the octagon and says nigga, 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 I want to know if I want to know who. I want to know. I need to know because I remember saying in the last show, if Duplessis beats Izzy, he basically said I could call you nigga anytime I want. You can't do anything about it. Like you can't call it nigga. You can't say nigga, nigga, nigga and lose that fight, bro. I need to see that, and there's so much weight on that. No. But that's my point. Izzy said it and said what I'm saying is if Izzy loses that, right? You're basically saying that you basically giving Izzy you basically giving Duplessis the pass now. I will call you nigga whatever I want. What you gonna do about it? Fight me? Fight me then. You just like you did fight me low. Like but bro, what you gonna say?
I gotta ask you this. Because I want that fight too. I really want that fight. Would you rather see that fight before Izzy and you want to see that fight more than Izzy and Parade of 3?
It's a good one, bro.
Because I was
here's the thing.
I was thinking that fight, but then when you just said Duplessis, I'm like, yeah, I really did want to see that Duplessis fight.
Bro, you know what?
I was itching for that fight.
I've always said that 2 things I hate the most.
Here we go.
Those rap videos that say to be continued in an unfinished trilogy. I hate those 2 things the most. But I still rather see just because of that build up, bro. I want to see if the real because that really got under Izzy's skin.
Yeah.
Because in the trilogy for Izzy and Pereira, as far as I don't think Izzy is as motivated for the per fighting because he
I don't think so
got the lalas. He got that all.
I think he's good. Yeah, I think he's okay with it.
But to say I'm gonna be the real African champ, that got under Izzy's skin, and I just want to see. I think that's gonna to me. Because I think, to me, that's we might see the old Izzy come back because just based on motivation. Like, that might remotivate him. He might be way more motivated to fight Duplessis than he would against Strickland, bro.
Yeah.
That build-up, bro. I want to see that, bro. I really want to see that just because of the build and the story, the promotion, everything behind it. And like I said, too much was done. It's like you're leaving us hanging, bro. You done do all that promotion, come on, drunk in the middle of the octagon, and now we gotta see that. We have to see that. And the fight that I want to see the most, bro, and it seemed like the most improbable is I need to see who really is the baddest man on the planet. Is it John Jones or Francis Ngannou, bro?
Oh, okay.
I need to see. We need to see that, bro. Until Francis Ngannou and John Jones fight one another, his shadow will always linger, will always be overcast the UFC's heavyweight division, bro. We need to see that. We definitely need to see that more than anything else. That's my top 3 wish list.
That's a great wish list. Off grit, I agree with you. We got the same wish in regards to Izzy and Duplessis. I was gonna say Izzy against Alex, and you just refreshed my memory. I was like, yeah, I really did want to see Duplessis. I really like Duplessis. I think Duplessis is really good. I think he's really good too. I think, but I do think though. I feel like maybe.
Not to cut you off. And that speaks to the genius of Izzy's ability to promote his next fight. That was one of his. That was one thing about it because he was so active as a champ. Is that one thing I give credit for because he was very active as a champ. Number 1, and number 2, it's like he directed his career. Like he'll call his next opponent right then every time. This is who my next guy's gonna be. This is who no other champ does it like he does it. So the fact that he was able to call out Duplessis after Duplessis' victory to the point where we're this interested in that fight, that speaks to his genius as a promoter.
No, absolutely. It does speak to his genius as a promoter, understanding. And he doesn't, and to be honest with you, in his selection, a lot of guys, if they pick a guy, it's a hand-picked guy. I kind of feel like his selection isn't a stylistic thing as far as, you know, I think it's more of a like a proving ground thing. Like I don't think he's picking a guy to say, oh, you know, like I know this is easy pickings. You know how somebody
he's not ducking.
I don't
Izzy,
get I don't get that impression from Izzy.
Izzy picks who we know is supposed to be like Izzy picks from the stance of appearance. Like we all know who's supposed to be next. Him. Like we all he never goes against what the consensus is because he knows it too. Like, yo, this is the next guy I'm supposed to fight. Let's bring him out here. He ducks no fades.
I totally agree. I got Izzy and Duplessis. That takes the cake. Let me ask this in regards to that. We talking about it, so we might as well. Do you think Izzy losing to Sean does that take off of that fight though a little bit? Some of the luster off? That maybe Izzy isn't, or does it?
He's on my list. He's on my list. I still want to see that.
Still want to see that. Right,
because at the end of the day, because you gotta remember who Izzy. Let's not do recency bias where that should take away all of Izzy's accomplishments of who he is as a champion, things of that nature. It's still Izzy Adesanya, one of the greatest strikers in the game. He's still a legend. Yeah. So, as far as I'm concerned, bro, it's not like he's going through some sort of losing streak. He could have been less motivated. And I'm not taking that away from Sean Strickland, but it could have been a number of things. Sean probably could have got really in his head with that dog thing. Cause no one. Izzy's really good at talking shit with his opponents, stuff like that. Right. Sean was up here with it. Like Sean is usually good with the verbal game. So maybe that could have gotten Izzy. Like it could have been a number of things that made Izzy not the better man that night. And I'm not saying that. And who's to say that Izzy didn't take some lessons from that fight and made adjustments? We could argue that too.
Yeah, true.
You get what I'm saying?
True.
So that loss didn't it didn't take away anything from Izzy's stock in my eyes. Izzy's still Izzy. And I still need to see that Izzy in the octagon with Duplessis, bro.
Ditto. That's what we both need to see. At number 2, I want to see Conor against somebody in the top 5 lightweights. Whether it's Islam, whether it's Oliveira. More so, I want to see him in Gaethje. Whether it's Poirier, whether it's Chandler, one of those 5 guys.
I'm gonna hold you to the fire. Pick one.
Right
now, you being as flaky as
Conor. I would want to say, you know who I want to see him fight? Gaethje. I feel like Chandler, if he fights Chandler's a bit. I think that would be the best fight. I think that would be the fight that Conor would have the best chance of winning. Not necessarily that he would win, that he would have the best chance of winning. The Gaethje fight is the violence. It's the violence. It is 2 dudes slugging it out. Gaethje doesn't like him. I know they don't like each other. That's the one I would want to see. And I think Gaethje kind of earned that a little bit. Out of him or Oliveira, but I kind of want to see Gaethje more. Because Oliveira with the submissions, with Gaethje and Conor, even with Poirier, you're not going to see none of that ground stuff. You're going to see them slug it out, kicks, punches, swings, a lot of leg kicks. I know that's coming. That's what I want to see. So Conor against any one of the 5. Any one of those 5. At number 1, I have to slide away from MMA for this one. I want to see Canelo Alvarez step up and fight Benavidez. That's the fight in boxing I want to see right now. They let all of y'all Canelo fans out there, y'all letting him get away with murder. And these are the same fans that was jumping out Mayweather throat for not fighting whoever they thought they would. This right here, not fighting Bivol, the guy that beat him, and now just cherry picking fighting guys that have nothing to do with the 168-pound division that Canelo is undisputed in right now. Benavidez is the number 1 guy. He done slayed all the other guys in the division. If you're not fighting Benavidez, somebody give up the belts. You got to give up the belt. Boxing is so corrupted. They done snatched the belt off of Crawford, the same belt that he took from Spence after 1 fight. We got Canelo over here fighting dudes that's not even 168 pounders. And avoiding, but I want to see Canelo and Benavidez getting in. I want to see. I get the impression that if they fight, we gonna find out. Just like Crawford and Spence, we gonna find out exactly why Canelo ain't making that fight. That's what's going to be found out. I get the impression that that's what's going to happen. I get the impression that that's what's coming.
Not to cut you off, but this is why I had to give the honorable mention to the Spence Crawford fight.
Right.
When we talk about fight of the year, because to have that to have the stars align in that way, where we get the fight we want, we get the fight that we want when we want it. Yeah. It's so rare in boxing. And yeah, you brought up a good point with that. Well, it's on the wishing list, man. I hope Sam listen to us, bro. Against these fights, bro.
Listen, I'm gonna transition real quick. Speaking of fights, there was one fight that would have been on my wish list, but after seeing this pay-per-view Reckoning this weekend, with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder on the same card.
The transitions was crazy. I like the transitions.
I was thinking about it. I was like, this is one of the fights I had on there. And then Saturday happened. And I'm like, now they want to make this fight. Now everybody jumping to fight Wilder now after Saturday night. If you don't know, Wilder and Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua on the same card, co-main events against other fighters, looking as if they were going to angle for each other for March. That was the reported date. That's something that was reported. Anthony Joshua passed his test against Wilder with flying colors, while Deontay Wilder, with the much tougher opponent, Joseph Parker, took an L and didn't look good to fight. Looked maybe a little shot at 38 years old. Maybe he was a little shot. Maybe this is a step up in competition that Wilder hasn't fought consistently in Joseph Parker, who was a former champion. But anyway, you look at it after the fight, Anthony Joshua sounded like he was still open, very open, more open than ever to fight Wilder. I never heard Anthony Joshua be more, it's still more available for Wilder questioning. So I'm like, it seems like they jumping, like they may be chomping at the bit right now. So I mean,
let me throw my 2 cents with that one. What could redeem Wilder to angle him for that Joshua fight?
What's that?
His next opponent should be who I'm more interested in seeing fight would be Francis Ngannou.
Oh, Wilder against Ngannou.
Wilder against Ngannou, bro.
Oh, matter of fact, Ngannou tweeted something, licking my chops or something.
Bro,
I don't remember the exact. Don't quote me on that, but it was something towards those lines. It was
when I after the Wilder loss, that was my first thought. Like, his next, they need to go for that Ngannou fight right now. That's a perfect opponent because you're coming off a loss, and he's coming off a loss.
Right.
You got his name is red hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can promote it as the 2 hardest hitting fighters in combat sports.
Mm-hmm.
Wilder's the hardest hitting puncher in boxing, and Ngannou's the hardest punching fighter in MMA. You got the 2. It could be promoted as what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, something of that nature. But it's like the 2 hardest hitting dudes in combat sports in the ring. Who's gonna come out?
Yeah,
that's the perfect fight to angle for. That should be Wilder's. That's what I thought. When the L was announced for him, I'll tell you, they need to angle for that Francis fight.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing with that,
and whoever wins that, go for Joshua.
Here's what I would ask in regards to that. Is in regards to Wilder. See, because here's what I do question. And it's the only hiccup I have with.
Let me just say. Let me say this right now. You heard it first here on Fighting Words with Kev and Shelz. Wilder's next fight would be with Francis Ngannou. Remember, I predicted that
really?
Jake Paul's next official fight, the first official box would be with damn, that was a minute ago. Would be with my man the Spider.
So yes. That's how you acquired the name. Well, Anderson Silva.
You know what I'm saying? That's my next prediction. The next big, I see these things. The next big fight between those two dudes would be between Wilder and Ngannou. But my fault. What you saying?
No, that's what's up. No, I was the thought I was having, and it's a real thought. These guys are coming towards the end of their rope a little bit, and I
Francis
question.
Look like he's just be starting.
Who's that? Not Francis.
Like
I'm not speaking about Francis. Not tomorrow. I'm talking about Wilder and really Wilder and Joshua. Okay. And do you think? I get the feeling that there's money in fighting Ngannou, but do you think they're more interested in chasing the belts? From perspective, when I say chasing the belts in the heavyweight division, it's kind of like right now Usyk and Fury are locked in for an undisputed fight. I get and these two are one fight off based on names. They both are. Like I could see Usyk or Fury circling back, and maybe not Fury and Wilder again, but I could see the winner of that circling back and fighting Joshua. Do you think that maybe both Wilder and Joshua are more concerned with the heavyweight title situation, that legacy fight, as opposed to maybe Ngannou? You think they'll be as motivated for Ngannou fight?
I say they should be, because after Ngannou's performance against Fury, he has earned himself a legitimacy to the point where fighting him could put you in question for a title shot, bro. At this point, this is no longer Francis Ngannou, the UFC fighter. Let's see what happens. Just a fun thing. This is like we're taking him serious now. I see that his next. I believe Francis Ngannou's next fight will be a 12th rounder, bro. The reason why it was a 10 round, because it's trying to show like it was an official fight. Like this is a real fight, but it's not an exhibition, but it has that feel of an exhibition fight. I think Francis's next fight to me will be a real deal. Like we're talking, we're going for the title now. Like this is serious, right? Now. Like his name has earned a level of legitimacy after his performance, to the point where it's no longer a filler fight.
Right.
While you're waiting for the real next thing to happen. I think this is the next real thing to happen. So at this point, if Wilder wants to keep his name in a title conversation, his next best bet will be to fight Ngannou.
Saudis will pay for that.
Huh?
Saudis, Dubai, they'll pay for that.
I think the pay-per-view will be bigger because people are now taking Ngannou more serious.
But with Wilder's performance, though, I guess he still has the name. But not a good performance at all. Maybe it was an off night at the office, but when guys get past 35, tend to think that's more reality.
Now this is a different question. It sounds like what you're asking is, do you think Wilder still has what it takes to be kept in the conversation for a title fight? Do you think he'll ever get to that point? That sounds like what you're asking now.
I think he'll get a title shot based on the name. I think, but it just won't be the next one. It just won't be the next one. It will be after Usyk and Fury, and then Joshua. But by then, Wilder probably be like 40. You know what I mean? But I think he's in a position where, he would want to cash out, because there's no telling who he would lose to, Wilder.
Yeah,
at this point, and that's where the value gets lost.
That's another point. That's another good point you brought up.
Yeah,
the biggest cash cow to me right now would be his biggest money fight right now. His biggest legit money fight would be against Ngannou.
I don't know.
Beating him would keep him in.
I don't know. I wouldn't say biggest.
Would be a bigger fight?
AJ, Anthony Joshua. I think that's the fight, regardless of anything.
No, you're right, but that's why I said legit, because how could you now justify fighting Joshua after losing?
Well, Joshua isn't the champion. And Joshua has to wait. I mean, who's Joshua going to fight? Remember, the fight is going to happen between Fury and Usyk. In between that, you're going to wait for that? We don't even have a date. Do we have a date for that fight?
Nah, we had one.
There's a good chance. Remember, they were angling Joshua and Wilder. Now that Wilder just took that L, Watch how fast this fight get, especially the way he lost. Watch how fast this fight get made.
Oh, so you think his next fight will still be against Joshua?
It's gonna be Joshua. It's gonna be Joshua.
Okay.
It's gonna be Joshua. And to me, I'm gonna say this, and it's probably not accurate. I mean, I'm not saying it's not accurate. It's. I'm not saying fact, saying that this is fact. I feel that unless they had a deal in place prior to this, which it seems like they had something tentative, because a lot of reports, and it makes sense because to have them on the same, you don't see two big name fighters in boxing on the same card co-main. That's a UFC thing.
Yeah.
Boxing, they're not doing that. So maybe they did have something ironed out for them two to see each other. So I think that fight is going to happen next.
Okay. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, man.
Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, bro.
Well, there you have it, guys. That was the end of the year show for 2023. Please leave in the comments what you think. Who you think was fight of the year? The upset of the year? The fight of the year? What is your pound for pound top 5? What is your wish list for 2024? What do you want to see? And who do you predict? Because Kev got Joshua and Wallace still fighting. I still think Wallace's next fight is gonna be Ringana. But who do you think is your next is the next fighter for Wallace, for all our boxing fans out there? And until next time, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button so you know when we come up with new new content. And until then, this has been Fighting Words with Kev and Shelz. I'm Shelz.
Yeah, 8 Count Sports. Have a happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. I hope we all have a prosperous 2024 and forevermore.
Word, prosperous. Prosperous,
like my man, like my Peter Pops. Prosperous.